I'm a straight-laced Mormon, and I represent 1%er motorcycle clubs. I'm an attorney that has represented the Mongols Motorcycle Club for 5 years. And I can say, unequivocally, they are not what the police make them out to be. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how I found that out, because I used to believe what the police were saying. I've seen Gangland. I've seen the specials. I've seen, these TV shows that make them look like they are just horrible. Absolutely horrible. But then I got to know them. Funny thing, I was once asked if I wanted to meet the international president of the Mongols Motorcycle Club. And I was just like, yeah. Like, who wouldn't? Right? That's pretty interesting. So I went to this place called Scoundrel's Pub, and I shook his hand. And he said, "You're a lawyer?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you do me a favor?" I said, "Sure." He said, "One of my guys just got arrested. Can you help him out?" I said, "What did he get arrested for?" "Suspended registration." "What? No, nobody gets arrested for suspended registration." He did. I didn't even believe him. So they gave some bail money, and I went with his wife, and we drove to the jail. And I got to the front, and I was trying to pay the bail money, and they're like, "What is he arrested for?" I said, "Suspended registration." I said, "Nobody gets arrested for suspended registration." I was just like, "He did." And they looked it up, and they're just like, "You're right. We're going to OR him, own recognizance," right? Because he got arrested for suspended registration. And then I helped him out with that case, and we got that all taken care of. He invites me to breakfast. I sit down with him, and I find out we've got a lot more in common than I thought. In fact, he grew up as a Mormon. I'm a Mormon, right? I'm an active member of my church, and I love it. And he grew up as a Mormon. And so it's funny, I tested him. I was just like, okay, if you grew up as a Mormon and you went to primary, you should be able to complete this sentence. "I looked out the window, and what did I see?" And he's a tough guy. He's just like, popcorn. From the children's song, "Popcorn popping on the apricot tree." And I was like, man, I think I even said the word fetch. It's just a Mormon thing. And I just grew to love him. We went out shooting together. He has 0 criminal record, besides being arrested for minor traffic violations. Nothing. 0. Goose egg. 0 convictions. And we grew to love each other. Went over his house. His wife makes fantastic soup. It's like this green chili chicken soup with like corn and potatoes. Oh my goodness, is it fantastic. But I love that family. And, I read all the books, and I watched all the things on TV, and I found out that none of them are true. Sure, there are people in the Mongols Motorcycle Club that commit crimes. But do they do it on behalf of the club? No. I've represented them for 5 years. I've represented them at the highest level. And my experience is vastly different. Sure, you don't want to mess with the guys. I mean, if you pick a fight with them, will they defend themselves and probably win? Heck yes, right? They're tough as nails. Do they live a lifestyle that, I don't agree with? That's okay. I don't agree with a lot of things, right? But this is America. So they're allowed to live the lifestyle that they choose. People might even call them unsavory, right? They curse a lot. But none of the things that I've seen on television are true. It's twisted to give a different perspective. And it's sad. Ruben Cavazos was a horrible person. And yes, he was the one-time president of the Mongols Motorcycle Club. But here's something to think about. Before the Mongols knew there was an ATF agent that had infiltrated the club, before that, 4 months before, the Mongols Motorcycle Club found out that Ruben Cavazos was doing all this illegal stuff that he was eventually sent to prison for. And what did they do? They kicked his butt out of the club without knowing about the undercover. 4 months earlier, they kicked him out, and they kicked out all the other people that were with him. They have a rule that you don't use your patch to benefit you personally. And Doc, he was a coward. He was a coward that hid behind the patch and used the patch and did it in a way that he's in prison for a long time. I get it. But that's not the club. That's one person in the club. I don't know what I can do to convince you, but I can just say that I'm an attorney that has represented them for a long, long time. And I love them, and I respect them, and I trust them.